So what is Tai Chi and what is Taijiquan?
Well, we could talk about the words. We could talk about how Tai Chi, which is often spelled Tai Chi more commonly in the West, is literally the grand ultimate, which is the supreme natural force that is governing all things.
It's another word for God or source, the divine. This is the Chinese and the ancient scholars' way of what do the indigenous people say? Great creator,
Mm-hmm.
the great creator. So the Tao, as this philosophy comes from the Tao Te Ching, is is essentially the way, and it and nature is the best symbol that we have that represents the Tao. And as we are part of nature, we want to try to align with the principles and the patterns that nature also does and has. So
Mm-hmm.
interestingly, that's how the pattern of Tai Chi comes into play.
Yeah, so Tai Chi itself is a philosophy, an understanding of life, but it is also, um, well, the Chinese writings say that Tai Chi was born out of Wuji and that it is also the mother of yin and yang. So this ancient writing kind of explains the nature of what Tai Chi is. And so, in order to understand it, we also have to look at Wu Ji and Yin Yang as well. So, Tai Chi comes from Wu Ji. What is Wu Ji? Wu Ji is the oneness of it all, or also known as the nothingness of it all, however you want to look at it. It's represented by either a single dot or a circle, a hole, and it's considered source. You can think of before creation, before all time, before all things existed, everything was one and unified. And so that is one state of being. Wuji is a state of being. And then from there comes Taiji. So the Taiji is the force that moves from that oneness out of it into somethingness. And from then, and Taiji is represented as a spiral, which we see a lot in nature as a pattern, and mathematicians have identified it in the Fibonacci sequence. And you see it in an unfurling fern frond, and in hurricanes, and in seashells, in DNA, in the way our fossil tissues are organized, in the coiling of our heart. Oops, I touched my mic. Sorry about that. In the way that our heart tissues are organized, you can find now on the internet someone dissecting a heart and uncoiling it. So our heart is in fact one big spiral, and so. And in waveform, so waveform is another way of mapping out a spiral. So spirals are everywhere, and that is what Tai Chi is. And then, did you want to add to that?
For me, one of the most powerful symbols is the single cell pre-fetal growth to double cell, and then from so on and so forth.
So it's doubling and doubling and
Yeah,
doubling and doubling,
yeah,
on and on and on.
yeah.
Cool.
And
Well, yeah.
so the
Mm-hmm.
way that that pattern has been mapped out is similar to that of the spiral. And because we are growing in the womb as part of nature, we also have that nature's invisible force as we grow into these multicellular organisms. So
Mm-hmm.
that force is always with us. That force was with us um, as mother and father come together, and then that's sort of like the 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 yin and yang that come together to form another Wuji. And then as we grow in the womb, again, 1 cell, 2 cell, 4, 8, and it comes into the 10,000 things, which is how Wuji is mapped out from
You want to talk about 10,000 things?
Taiji
Yeah.
to yin yang and 10,000 things. Yeah.
Well,
So
we haven't talked about that poetry yet.
yeah, are we going to?
Are we going? You already did. So you brought it up, so you should talk about it.
So the 10,000 things is everything that we see that is in existence, not just the seen world, but the unseen world, all coming from one place, one source,
Wuji.
which is Wuji. So it's a life cycle and also a death cycle. Wuji is the place of origin and also the place of destination.
Yeah, and so at the opposite end of Wuji, so we went from Wuji, the force that brings you out of Wuji
Is Tai
is
Chi.
Tai Chi, and then from Tai Chi manifests full expression, which is the Yin Yang, which is the two extremes, and that is represented by the sign symbol that we all know by now, I think. It's really common now to see the yin yang symbol of the dark and the light. And then within it is the two dots of opposing color. And often we like to see that as a symbol of balance always too, because ultimately nature wants to rebalance itself. And in that symbol also lives Ruji, because this whole circumference of the symbol is Ruji. So it's contained within Ruji, and in the makeup of that balance has Ruji as part of it.
So that's our job, and that's our vision, and that's our stabilizing point as well, is when white and black are in their exchange, understanding that two make one and one make two, in that every time you have perceived opposing forces, they are contained within the one, within the Wuji, that single circle. So that's always something to come back to and remind ourselves as we go through the practice and we see these opportunities for practice.
And another thing about yin yang is that it's a snapshot of yin yang as well, whereas it's thought more of as being three-dimensional and in flux and spinning. And so that
Toroidal as well.
Toroidal. And so that spiral process of Taiji is always happening within the yin yang symbol. And so we could also see the figure 8 in yin yang, which is infinity, the infinity symbol. So there's a lot happening with that symbolism. But we wanted to talk about the second part of this page, which was in contrast to just talking about the word Taiji, we wanted to also talk about Taijiquan, because that's what we studied with Dr. Yang, which is not just the philosophy, but it's the martial arts based on that philosophy. So do you want to speak to the term Taijiquan?
Yeah, a lot of people wonder if Qigong is Taijiquan, if Taijiquan is Qigong. Qigong is always that umbrella term. Within Qigong, there's 4 schools of Qigong, one of those being martial Qigong, which Taijiquan falls under. But then there's a lot of overlap between the Qigongs. They are cultivating body and self-defense, at the same time pursuing peace of mind and spiritual pursuit. This is the pursuit of Tai Chi Chuan, especially training it in a monastic setting. So the Chuan symbolizes and translates to a fist or a method, Tai Chi being grand ultimate, and fist being the style or the method, where theory and application become one and have this dance where each person gets to apply in their own way through their own body what that dance, what that grand ultimate dance is. Finally, in Taiji Chuan, we talk about the mind and the importance of the mind and how the mind is this grand general who's operating, and in a way, the source who's operating the 10,000 things that are in the body. And so I would I would propose the idea that when the mind and the general can have a grasp and a sense of all the 10,000 things, of all the bones in the body, and if the tissue, and find a whole body, full body practice and doing the Tai Chi movements in as one and in coherence, now we find this state of balance, to peace, to tranquility, to bliss, and to eventually what the goal is transparency, the feeling of lightness where you've transcended the sense of physical, and now you've grasped and have the sense of the energetic body, and hopefully the spirit body. So that's the goal for Taiji Chuan and Taiji Chuan practitioners, transcending the mundane or the physical, and bringing that and embodying that spiritual potential.
So Taijiquan is differs from Taiji in that it's a martial arts.
Yeah.
Chuan being that it means the fist or the hand.
Taiji is the philosophy, and Taiji Chuan is
The
just
martial arts.
the method of that philosophy.
Yeah, and right, because Chuan could be method. I was thinking like the will. Fist could represent the will of the grand ultimate.
Yeah.
Also, but I think I was thinking earlier, I didn't come from that martial arts interest, but coming to a practice where the techniques are for creating harmony and balance in the most difficult of situations, of most adversarial situations, of most dangerous situations, where someone else is not coming with kind intentions. That that means that those methods are really strong, that they are powerful in creating harmony. And so when you apply them or bring them into a non-adversarial situation, they're going to still have an effect of harmonizing. So you can, because you can use them in the most dire of situations even.
Well, as we note in mediation, conflict is always inevitable. And this is also, we're going a little bit past now, but now we're going into the strategy, the mindset, and the philosophy of resolution and exchange. In the realm of Qigong, energy is not produced or destroyed, it's always exchanging.
Science says that too.
Modern
science agrees with that.
Says that too.
Yeah.
And so we're always coming into contact with one another and with the world and with nature. And also, when I lost a little bit my train of thought. What was I saying?
Let's see. You were saying that when it's applied to other areas, is that what you're talking about? Where I wanted to move to next was to say, in our modern Western world, Tai Chi Chuan, the movements from Taiji Chuan have been introduced and have been found to be of great health benefit.
I remember what I was
You remember?
Say.
Okay. I'll come back to that point in a moment then.
Yeah. So we have to understand that in the world and amongst the 10,000 things, things are always interacting and interfacing. In the natural world, life feeds on life. The what do you call the apex predator template, and
life feeds life.
Life feeds life, and life feeds on life. in nature, in the natural setting, uh, even humans are susceptible to predation, right? So even as the monks had to under even as the monks were living in the natural world, they were exposed to predators. So you have things like and techniques like tame the tiger. And there's an actual movement called tame the tiger, which is a physical movement, and it could be said that this could be used to defend oneself against a tiger. So when we come to exchanging energy and interfacing with our small universe along with nature and the natural world, the way that we look at things and our mindset is important. We also study the regulation of mind and emotional mind. And so when it comes to resolution and when it comes to partnership and when it comes to sustainability, we want to have the mindset that's going to help us to engage in those moments of stress and tension and imbalance with the skills. So that's why we study all the things that we study, understanding that when there's an imbalance, we're going to feel the push and pull of energy trying to rebalance itself, right? So we have to now go into our Buddhist practice and limit and mitigate judgment. We have to go into our nonviolent communication practice where we reduce enemy imaging founded upon limiting judgment and understand that we are all humans in love and that are loving, and all of that love comes and springs forth out through our needs. So our needs, whether we're conscious or unconscious of them, become these interaction
They fuel the behavior.
and
Yeah.
interfacing points where sometimes our needs match. Sometimes it seems that our needs don't match. And so, with this mindset, with this understanding, and understanding the Wuji philosophy, we create the conditions for a sustainable partnership.
Great.
Shall we turn the page?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've got I think the last thing on this page was that even though it's an ancient practice with martial principles, that it's still very relevant for non-martial settings, and a lot of people have already found that in terms of their own personal health within their body. So the harmonizing of internal energies. And that is not surprising if it's meant to harmonize external energies.
Yeah.
It's going to also harmonize the internal ones as well.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot to talk about. There's nervous system regulation, so regulating one's own, being in, there's co-regulation, there's understanding when you're regulated, upregulated, downregulated, dysregulated.
there's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to
We're
talk
going to turn the
about.
page though.
Let's turn the page.